Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys Ride. Today I'm in the 2025 Ford Explorer, and this is the ultimate guide to learn your car's tech in minutes, not months. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Chuck Spaeth Ford in New Ulm, Minnesota.
All right, so over here we've got a 12.3-inch all-digital screen, and you can configure what's in the middle, but everything else pretty much just stays. So let's talk about what we have. Over on the far left, you of course got your RPM gauge, you got your gear selector, you got your odometer. Above the gear selector, you got your auto start stop defeat, and that button to turn that on and off is in the center console. You've got, of course, your daytime running lights indicator and headlamp indicator right above the odometer. And then you got fog lamp indicator on the far left, and of course it's showing that no one is buckled. Now when you start the vehicle, you're going to get a little picture showing up in that area that shows exactly who's buckled in which of the four seats, because this one has captain's chairs in the rear. All right. Of course, you got above the RPM gauge, you got your compass, then you've got your media, and then to the far right, you got the outdoor ambient temperature. On the far right, you got your speedometer. Below that, you got your fuel gauge and your distance to empty. Just to the left of the speedometer, you got your speed limit readings right there. And then everything else is cruise control. So if I shut off cruise, that all disappears. Turn that on, and there it is. The little blue in front of the truck, that's your gap setting for your cruise control. All right, because this does have adaptive cruise control. All right, what you can change is in the middle. Now, you have what's called My View, and in My View, you can pre-program which screens you want to have access to, but there is a limit to how many you can select. If you don't want to do that, you can simply go down here, press OK. You can see trip and fuel. Now, you get fuel economy right here. And there's three screens. There's this one, trip 1, trip 2. And you just press and hold OK to reset any of those. I'm going to use the back button here. You got status information. So here, if I go up, you get seat belts. Shows you that I'm the only one in the car and I am not buckled. Go down again. No trailer detected. Engine coolant and transmission temperature. That's really nice to have that there, especially when you're hauling something. Off-road status, bunch of nice gauges there for pitch and roll. And then steering angle as well. Okay, if I go down again, I'm going to get back, I'm back to seat belts. So I'm going to press the menu. I'm going to go down to vehicle maintenance. I'll press OK again. I get oil life, and I just press and hold to set. So you change your oil, press and hold that to reset it. Go back, go down to tire pressure, and there's that screen that we've seen before. All right, I'm going to hit the back button a couple of times. All right, so let's keep going down. Audio. Now, what you can do here, if you press OK, is you can select your source, and then it just goes back to the audio screen. So let's say we got FM, AM, Sirius XM, Bluetooth audio, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are not hooked up yet, but I will show you how to hook up those later. Okay, so all you got to do is click on one, and then you can see at the very top of the screen it's changed, but the main menu has gone back to this. Okay, if you had your phone connected, which I don't, you could click on here and you would see things like recent phone calls. You could look up contacts, that kind of stuff. Now, if I go down to this last one and click OK, you're going to see on the far right the speedometer change. And now you get miles per hour at the top and kilometers at the bottom. And the main gauge that goes around a circle changes to kilometers per hour. Okay? All right, so let's go back up to My View. So I'm going to click on it. Now, in this screen, I currently have 5, well, I'll call them screens. So if I go back to the very top, first of all, I got that map view that I showed you. Wait for a minute. There it goes. Click down. You're going to go to fuel economy. And again, press and hold OK to reset that. Go down again, trip 1. Go down again, tire pressure. Go down one more. And now you can configure. So if I press OK, you can have, I think, 5 screens at a time. So for instance, if I try to do, oh, that's 6 screens, 7 screens, 8 screens. That's it. You can have 8 screens at once. Anything that's in a blue check mark is going to show up in my view, and the other ones aren't. So I'm actually going to take trip 2 off because I want to see the off-road ones. Temperature gauges. Ooh, let's. I'm gonna take off the calm view. I'll show you that in a minute because some of you may like that, but I'm going to put temperature gauges. Okay, so 8 of them at a time. Now I'm going to hit the back button, and I'm just going to go up because I'm in my view. So here we go. There's my temperature gauges. There's my off-road status. There's tire pressure. There's trip 1, fuel economy, map view, and then we're back to, and then we're driver assistance. So for here again, would be like cruise control, okay, lane keeping assist. So you had that small icon underneath the speedometer. Now it's in the middle. So go back to menu for a minute. This again is where you configure that. I am going to show you though. You got to go to the very bottom one to configure it. So I'm just going to go all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take off temperature gauges for a minute. And I'm going to show you what the calm view does. Okay, so let's just press this. And I believe it's going to be the very first one. So on the calm view, this is what it does. So it's really the only place you get a real change to the dashboard. And that's it for the driver screen. Next, we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. The infotainment screen on the 2025 Ford Explorer is a very nice 13.2 inches as measured diagonally. And it is an all-new system. So this is Google-based. It's run on Android. So it does use Google Maps, Google Assistant, and the Google Play Store. All right, so the way it's laid out is your basic buttons are here, and then your climate is all here. And this is all your climate buttons. There are no other ones, no physical buttons for climate. So in the home screen, which is this, no matter how many times you press it, you don't get different ones. You get maps, you get your driver profile, you get your phone, and then you get media. Now, any one of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, you click on them, and they're going to become full screen. It doesn't matter which one you click on. Okay, so, all right, doesn't matter which one you click on. So that is your home screen. This button here, this screen here gives you access to frequently used items. So you got ambient lighting here, which this vehicle has. Of course, you can set the intensity, which you really can't pick up in this light. But you got these different colors right here that you can select from, okay? You can see a little bit up here in this screen where right now it's green, changes to blue, comes over by the doors, okay? So it's going to be kind of right down in by the wireless charger area. All right. Over here, you got hill descent control. That's simply on or off. All right. Under seats, this is where you can adjust like your lumbar and stuff. Now, your lumbar and stuff, you can actually just adjust it from the side of the seat. I mean, all those traditional controls are there. However, the lumbar here kind of does the lower back. But if I go here to this screen and I do this one, I can now do that one separately. And if I go up one more, I can affect the top one, which you cannot do from the seat. Okay, so this one does a little bit more. Okay, but all the basics you would normally be used to in a car are done from the driver's seat controls. This gives you extra. This is a massaging seat. So we've got lower rolling, upper rolling, circular cushion, full recovery, relaxed recovery. You can definitely hear the motor's running when you put it on that massage seat. But if you're driving and have music on, I don't think you're even going to notice it. All right, let's go back here. You do have a valet mode that you can punch in a code. It will leave all the safety systems on, limit the stereo volume, and so forth. You can check on your vehicle status as tire pressure and oil life. You had that in the dashboard. Okay. And we'll go back here, and then you can get all the settings, which we will go to in a little bit. All right, let's go back here. This is all your apps. So if you want to see everything that's on the vehicle, that's here. And you scroll up and down instead of left to right like you always have. Okay, now things like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto won't actually function until you've got something hooked to them. Okay, but this is where we can get to the media. So we got AM, FM, and Sirius XM right here. Let's see, what else do we have? We got some cool stuff we'll get to in a minute here. All right, let's go to FM. Okay, so the basic questions are, how do I change the source? Well, you go up here, and then you've got all the sources. Okay, you just click on it. Second thing is, how do I tune? Well, there's a couple ways. First, you can just hit that, and it goes to the next available station. You can hit the plus and minus, and it goes up by increments. Okay, or you can go right here and hit enter. I don't know what that is. There we go. So that's how you're going to tune. How do you adjust sound? You go up here, click on this, and you go to sound. And then you can go to tone, balance, and fade, which would be the biggest ones for us now. You got some preset ones here. You can also click and drag as you listen and find out which one you like more, that's really cool. It does have a 14-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system in it. Okay, now you can click on here and go to the equalizer. You can adjust that, of course, bass, mid-range, treble. You can hit reset, and it zeroes everything out. I'm going to hit the back button here. Talk about balance and fade for a minute. Okay. You can just slide this back and forth. A little hard to see with this writing on here, but that's just the protective film. But there's the front seats, these are the back seats here. So you can adjust that, and you can also hit reset, and it moves it right back to the very middle. All right. So for our purposes, that's the ones that we want to talk about. So let's go back to the FM here. Now, the other question is, how do I save a favorite? And where do they appear? Okay, so if I click here, I just saved 89.7. So let me just go find another random station and hit save. You see, they're starting to show up here. All right, so the next question is, how do I get rid of favorites or reorganize them? How do I manage them? And man, I'll tell you, Ford and Google have made that so intuitive right here. If you want to get rid of someone else's presets or one you have, just simply click, hold, drag it off the screen. It's gone. You want to reorder them? Click here. Well, I may have to do this one. All right. So apparently you got to have at least 3 before it'll let you reorganize. But I'm going to go here and drag that one over there. I'm going to go here and drag that one. So that's how you're going to do it. It's so easy to do. You don't have to go to any menu. It's just right there. It's going to be the same for AM. And then I'll show you Sirius XM real quick. So that's Sirius XM. You do have a few other things here. You've got a live listen. You can get notifications for stuff that I want to know when certain groups are coming on and playing. So you can do that. All right. So that's media. Let's take a look at navigation for a minute. This is Google Maps. So it'll work on voice command if you just press the button on the steering wheel and let it go quickly. Take me to the nearest Dairy Queen.
Okay, Dairy Queen. Here we go.
Start. Just press on there, and there we go. Okay, it's going to, short route. Okay, to cancel the route, you can click the X, or you can just press the voice command button again, Cancel navigation.
Stopping navigation.
Couple things I'll point out. If you want to search by hand, you type it in. You can go in here, and if you click again, you get a keyboard. You can use this, click this microphone if you want, but it's the same thing as clicking the voice command button on the steering wheel. You do have POIs, or points of interest. So this would be if you want to see gas stations, you can click here. It's going to show them, click on it, and it's going to say start, and you can just go, it'll program a route for you, which is really nice. Gives you a picture. You got food, you got shopping, and you got coffee. Now, under settings, though, I want to talk about this for a minute. If you want traffic on, that's how it's going to look. If you want it off, you just click it. 3D billings to show up on the map, yes or no. Blue is yes. All right. Guidance audio is unmuted. You want alerts like a tone only, or you want to mute it completely. Now, you do have a quick shortcut to that right here, where if you just keep pressing this, it rotates through the same options. Down here, you have alerts for incidents and conditions that may impact driving. Now, under your vehicle, this is a new option, especially if you're trailering and you're wondering about the roads. You can actually set the length of your entire assembly, so your Explorer and the trailer, the width and so on, and it will try to find roads that will allow your size to travel on. Route options. You can click here to make preferences. You want to avoid highways? You program a route, it won't take you on a highway. Tolls, avoid ferries, prefer fuel-efficient routes, prefer HOV routes, and I think that's it, right? All right. You can download maps here, so if you're thinking, well, I'm going to be in an area, I've got a cabin up in the Rockies, and I don't get great cell reception in certain areas, so I'm going to download the map for that area, so I have it offline. Right? Now, this one here just changes the orientation. You got perspective, north up, overview, and we're back to perspective. This is a simple zoom in and out. Okay, and this recenters everything, but you can pinch here and you can rotate. It's very responsive screen. All right, so that's the basics of navigation. Now, before I move on, I want to talk about over here on the top right, you have got a notification icon. You've got your built-in Wi-Fi signal, and then you've got the fact that notification services are running. So if we click on this, okay, this is the one that I cleared before. So now it's not showing anything. This is your Google sign-in. All right. Now, down below is all the climate control. So let me show you a few things on here. First of all, this is just your temperature selector, driver and passenger. This one, if you click on it, is your ventilated, heated, and then automatic seats, and then your heated steering wheel. When it's set to auto, it's going to automatically cool or heat your seat based on the temperature. Okay, which is a cool feature. That's a new one. All right, now moving over, you've got your fan speed, which you can just click and you can just slide up. Okay, and do it that way. Now, to get it off auto, you got to click something on the fan here. Now, what auto does is, of course, it's auto temperature control. But you get the three buttons because first is, well, at 3, you're getting a lot of air blowing at you. 2 is a little less air, and 1's a little less air. So it depends on how you want that. But to turn it off, you got to click the arrows. Now, this one here brings up where you want your airflow to go. To full defrost, full face, full legs. Right now it's on auto, but I could just click one of these or 2 of these or 3 of these if I wanted. Got max AC, recirculatory over here. And then, of course, you got a power off button completely. Go back here. Power that back on because it's a little stuffy today. Max frost, your rear defrost, okay, and your mirrors, by the way, are automatically heated when you turn those on. AC on or off, and then this is just the seat control for the passenger. So that is all your climate controls. Let's go down to settings. So right now I have it set to dark mode just for filming, but you can change it to light, and you can change it to auto. Now, auto is typically the best setting because then the screen is brighter during the daylight and it's darker during the night. But for filming, I like this better. Okay. That's just where I happen to be, but let's go back up here. So the way it works is you've got a menu on the left, and when you click on it, other things show up in this screen that you can then control. So under sound, you remember we did tone and bounce and fade. Now you do have speed compensated volume, which simply means the faster you go or the more noise there is in the vehicle, it turns the stereo up a little bit. The slower you're going, idling, whatever, it turns the music down. The idea is it balances out in your ear. Okay, let's go back here. You have different sound modes. You can have stereo or surround. You just click there to change it. You can have volume, different volume settings for everything. So this is where you're going to do, how loud is it when it rings? That's for the phone. Prompts in the vehicle. And then audio. All right. Now, I have a feeling if you left that up and shut the vehicle off and restarted it, the music would automatically be on. I like that off because when I start my vehicle, if I want sound, I'll turn it up. But you may prefer to have music right away. And you can leave that up there somewhere, and then it'll be automatically on. All right. Bluetooth. Okay. We're going to come back and add a device in a little bit. Let's talk about driver assistance. Now, there's not enough time in the video to go through all these things. So let me go through two of them, but the rest will work the same way. This is a really good thing to go through when you're sitting in your driveway. Take a half hour, 15 minutes, and go through this. And then you don't have to touch it again. Cruise control. I'm going to point this one out. You can have just normal cruise control and turn off the adaptive cruise control. Okay? Now, when adaptive cruise control is on, you can choose. Do I want lane centering on? If I do, then I've got some other choices. Do I want in-lane repositioning? So what this is going to do, and this is a new one, this is kind of a cool thing. So you're passing a semi. Or a semi is passing you. It's actually going to move you over just a little bit to put a little more space between you and that vehicle. It's repositioning the car. But you can turn that off separately if you don't like it, and then lane change assist. Now, let's go back here for a minute, and let's talk about the pre-collision one. This is the other one I want to talk about. So automatic emergency braking, you can turn that on or off. Okay. And then do you want evasive steering assist on or off? So the automatic emergency braking by itself is going to attempt to brake if it senses an imminent crash. Evasive steering, it's just going to make, if this little bit of a turn would normally turn the car 1 degree, it's going to make it, do it, I just, in my head, it's going to be like 5 degrees, right? It's going to make it more sensitive. It's going to turn harder and sharper, which is what you want when you're trying to avoid another vehicle or anything else. Now, the alert sensitivity can be adjusted here to high, normal, or low, and that is something you're just going to have to play with and say, which one do I prefer? I'd definitely start with it in normal and then go from there. All right. Now, I will mention this one because there are a couple here that have an on-off button, right? They don't have the arrow. So that is, they all work the same way. Rear view camera delay. I turn that on. Now when I'm in reverse and then I go back to drive, the camera will stay on up until about 5 miles an hour, then it shuts off. But these all work the same way, on or off. Okay? Now, if you need to say, well, what exactly does this mean? You can click on the eye and they give you a basic description. Okay? All right. So that's driver assistance, lots of safety features. Let's take a look at vehicle. All right. Right now it's set to a 30-minute max idle. If you have to have it idle for longer than that, you can turn that off and it will just continue to idle until it runs out of gas. Rear occupant alert. Okay. Do you want alert and horn, alert only, or off? You can even tell it you have a child seat installed. So it's going to give you that reminder to check those important areas before you get out of your car. All right. Now, again, all of these work the same way. I'm going to go down to easy entry exit. And if I turn on seat adjustment, what that's going to do, because this is a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel, even on the Platinum trim, but it's going to lower your seat and push it all the way back when you get out. When you step back in, it's going to pull back up to the last position. Now, we'll talk about driver profiles in a minute, and that will set also your seats. But this will do it even without the driver profile. You set your seats where you want it, and you press either 1, 2, 3 on the door, and then when you get back in the car, this is going to bring it back to where you'd had it set. Okay. And then I want to talk about one more here because, where is it? Mirrors. So I'm going to click in here. I can have them auto fold every time I shut the car off, or I can just leave it like this. And I've got a power fold button, physical one, on the driver's door. Okay, but there you go. Okay, so all the rest of these are going to work the same. You just click on it, but it's well worth, 15 minutes, half hour to go through these and read them and say, what do I want to change? What don't I? All right, let's go down to system for a minute. This does, of course, have over-the-air updates. And if you've not been in a modern car that has over-the-air updates, that means it will automatically download any updates for the system, but it won't install them until you're parked. Now, here's where you can change languages, units, temperature. We can take a look at that. We just, of course, get the two options. Here you got a few more. Tire pressure unit, you get a couple. All right, let's go back. Let's go down here to profile. So we're going to talk about profile. So remember that little P1 we had at the beginning right here? You can get to this right here by just clicking. And I'm not going to go through this, but it's a very, very easy setup, and they tell you what to do. And, at this point, you're going to want to sign into Google. I mean, you don't have to, but then some of your things like navigation locations that you've saved, that kind of stuff doesn't transfer. Okay? So, but you go through that process, and then you're going to set your seat and your mirrors the way you want it. Your infotainment screen favorites will be saved. So make sure to set those before setting it. I mean, it's just really, really cool. And then you can link your key fob to the profile. There's a step in there where it actually says, do you want to link your key fob, right? And it tells you how to do it. That way, when you step in the car, you don't have to push any buttons. You push start, and then it recognizes your key fob and makes all the changes. Back to settings here. Now, under display, okay, you do have a couple of different themes that you can change to. Okay, and you have a calm screen. Now, a calm screen just does this. It gives you the day and the date. And so if you just don't want anything up there while you're driving, you can change it to that. And then simply go back, you press any of these home buttons or any of these side buttons, and you can get back to it. All right. let's go back, I think, here to settings here and just check. Ford's always had 911 assist. It uses your cell phone, not the vehicle's, but if it senses an accident, it'll automatically call emergency services. So you can turn that on or off right there. Let's see. Now, under privacy, this is where you can see what which apps have access to the microphone, and you can turn them on or off. Okay. So you might want to go through that if you're concerned about that stuff. And this is where you can change those. Now, you can do a reset. Right here on infotainment system data. You can delete your profile, okay? And you can do it the factory reset. This is a great thing to do when you're selling the vehicle. So before you sell it, do that. That way no one has any access to your information. Okay. And then you can look at data sharing with Ford. It's all the privacy stuff. All right. Accessibility. If you like to see captions on things, you can turn that on or off there. Apps. These are the apps that have been downloaded. This does use the Google Play Store. So you can go to the Google Play Store. You sign in with your Gmail. Any Gmail account will work. And then whatever apps they have that will work with the Ford Explorer will be there. So you can see they've downloaded, let's see, Apple CarPlay, Asphalt Nitro 2, Car Launcher, games, bunch of things on here, right? These are all the apps. Okay. And then you click on here, you can see Google services and on the device. Now, right now, I can't say, hey, Google, it does nothing. But if you don't want to use that voice command button on the steering wheel, turn this on, and now watch. Hey, Google, navigate to Dairy Queen.
There's a Dairy Queen 0.2 miles away. Want to navigate there?
Cancel navigation.
Okay.
Hopefully you noticed that I just spoke a sentence. I didn't say, hey, Google, and then wait for it to respond. I just spoke the entire sentence. It's very intuitive, and you can speak pretty much in a natural language, and it will understand. So that's it for the settings. So let's go back to apps for a minute. There are some things that are kind of cool about this that's new. For instance, I'm not signed in, but if you were on YouTube, we'll see if it comes up. Oh, it does. Okay, so let's try. All right, so I can, as long as I'm in park, I can watch a video. So I go here, and it's already on play, so I got to turn up my volume. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started. And there you go. And there's more videos down there that you can watch. So while you're in park, you can do that. It's automatically set so that if you put it in drive, which I will, and it's going to go away. Okay, now, nothing I want to show you. Well, let's go to games for a minute. Asphalt 2. Now, you need a Bluetooth controller to play the game. You can do some basic things with the touchscreen, but not much. You're going to want a Bluetooth controller. So they said any Bluetooth controller should work. And then you can sit there. And again, this is while the vehicle is in park. So it's going to steer itself right now, but you get an idea. If you had a Bluetooth controller here, you could have some fun. So the question is, how do I get back? Because there's no button here. Slide from the left to the right, and you get your own button. And then I should say that you should be able to, click and drag and reorder these. So if you have some of these like, I don't use games, I don't use, news, I don't whatever, you can put the commonly used ones where you want them. So they're nice and convenient. All right, so there are two other things that I want to show you, and that is how to add a phone for Android Auto. It'll be the same process for Apple CarPlay. And then I want to show you the really cool backup cameras. So on my phone, I'm going to click on Settings, and then I'm going to click on Connections. And from there, I should be able just to click on Bluetooth, and I should be able to see Ford Explorer. All right, so I see Ford Explorer at the bottom of my Bluetooth list on my phone. So I'm going to click on it, It's recognizing it. It's pairing. It should ask me to, yep, is that the same number as on my phone? Yes, it is. So I'll hit pair on my phone, hit pair there. Now, do I want to enable? Okay, I'm just going to hit disable for now. You would probably want to click enable on that one. I do on my own Explorer. On my phone, it says, do you want to allow access to messages, contacts? Yes, you do. Now, here you get a message that says start Android Auto or not now. If you click not now, it's still going to connect via Bluetooth, but not Android Auto. I want Android Auto. It's way better than standard Bluetooth, in my opinion. Okay, I think we're getting it slowly here. My phone has no reception whatsoever. So, but this is going to be your Google Maps right here. And of course, this is media. It typically defaults to YouTube, but you can swipe here. And these are suggestions for you. Okay, which is not going to come up because I have no signal. But if I click on, like, say, Google Maps here, you do get the full screen. Okay, I wish I could show that to you. It's just not popping up today. Over here are your most recently used apps. Your Google Assistant is there. And then you have a dice here. When you click on that, you get to see all the apps that your phone has that work with the system. And basically, at this point, this is where it differs from Apple CarPlay. You're going to scroll up or down to see your icons. And Apple CarPlay, you're going to swipe left or right. Okay, but it'll do anything, like calendars. It'll do any navigation apps. If you have a EV, you can do plug and share kind of stuff on those apps. But it'll do just about anything, which is really cool. You can go back here to split view, and then your phone is sitting there charging. So if you want to, use these maps instead of the built-in maps, you can do that. The built-in maps do require a subscription after a while. And when that runs out, maybe you just want to use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. All right, so that is how you set that up. And again, Apple CarPlay will be the same exact process. I want to show you the backup cameras because these are just cool. First of all, you've got a camera button that's right below the air vents below the infotainment screen. So if I click that, it brings it right up here. Okay, and then right now I'm in park, so it's showing my front camera and my 360. But if I hit reverse, it's going to show the backup camera and the 360. Okay, you notice that I've got a couple of buttons. Okay, so let's leave it in reverse for a minute, and let me press this. Okay, so I can change this view to be sensors. As people approach, you'll see different colors. Okay, that's one thing you can do. Here, you get a little different camera. You still get the sensors here, but you get a little wider view here. There's a little more narrow view. Okay, and so those options are there. You can hit the plus sign and go right down to the hitch view. So if you had a hitch on there, that would line up with your ball. Now let me go to drive for a minute. And as long as I have that camera button on, okay, you get this. You get the same options in the front. You can have that 360 with this view. You can have this view. I don't think there's any sensors in the front on that one. Okay, let's get a little wider view right there. Okay, so you get some optional views here that change. Okay, or you can X and you get out of the camera here because I pushed the button, right? Now, if I press the plus button here, I can take a look at certain corners. See how that works? That's pretty slick. Now, do you notice up here, those are dynamic swivel guidelines for the front. So those are an added feature in that one. But anyways, phenomenal camera system. So that's it for the driver screen and the infotainment screen on the 2025 Ford Explorer. And this is the Platinum Edition. We hope it's been helpful. Thanks for watching.